So I get asked a lot of questions about how do you measure and weigh your llamas. So today we're going to go over both. How to get your llamas weighed and how to measure them. First built a scale. The scale prices were anywhere from $400 to $1,500. And so what I did is I did a lot of research on the internet and I found a company called palletscales.com. And what they do is they sell you a 4H type scale with it comes 4 different load cells. And those 4 different load cells will be on each end of the scale that you make and on each side. So it's a nice kit. It's very affordable. I spent $250 on mine about 9 years ago, and I made a really cheap platform that you can see from wood that we had just lying around. This is the best way to measure your llamas, in my opinion, to build your own scale. It's very affordable and helps you know a lot about what's going on with your animals. If your animals are getting sick, they're going to lose weight. If your animals are getting too fat over the winter, they're going to gain a lot of weight. As your females are pregnant, you're going to see them incrementally gain weight throughout their 3 trimester cycle. So it's good to track that, and really important to also track when your babies, your crias, are growing. We like to see 1 pound of body weight growth per day on our crias, so the scale helps us track that to the 10th of a pound. So here we're doing a llama comparison, and all the llamas today that we'll be measuring and weighing are all 3 years old to kind of give you a reference. This right here is a Surrey llama. S-U-R-I is how it's spelled, and a lot of people don't know that there's different breeds of llamas. So Surrey llamas are not bred and never have been intended to be bred for packing. So their wool quality is the finest quality of the animal, and for thousands of years that's why they were produced. Red right here, let's go ahead and measure him at the top of the shoulder. They call it the shoulder measurement, most commonly referred to as the wither measurement, or his height. People want to know height, they'll kind of reference all 3 of these different ways of saying the wither measurement. So we're going to go ahead and measure him, and this is a homemade measuring device that helps us to be 100% accurate. You got to make sure that when you go ahead and put this on his back, that the bubble is level and that you're measuring right above the top of the legs. So right above the shoulder on the scapular cartilage, which is also the withers. So this animal, he's measuring 42 1/4 to 42 inches at the withers. So then we'll go ahead and measure while we're here. We'll measure his hip height. So his hip height also looks like it's 42 inches. So now we'll go ahead and get out the tape, and we're going to measure the top of the post, also called the pole height. So we measure at the top of the post right before the ears start. So that measurement looks like it's coming out to be 64 inches. And now we're going to measure the legs. So the leg measurement looks like he has 24-inch long legs. So Red was 42 inches at the withers. We're going to subtract that from his leg length of 24 inches. And that is going to give us 18 inches depth to body ratio. And the last measurement we get, just kind of for point of reference, is the surface area on the feet. So we'll check the front feet and the back feet, have them step in either snow or mud, and be able to get a good accurate measurement of the surface area on the feet. And we'll times the length by the width to get our surface area in square inches. Okay, here's our second animal that we're going to measure, who is also the tallest animal of the 3 that we'll measure today. His name is Sarge. Let's go ahead and get his measurement on his wither height. So his wither height looks like it is 51 inches, which is incredible. It's extremely tall, and few animals in North America are even close to 50 inches, let alone 51. Let's go ahead and measure his hip height to see what kind of top line that we have. And his hip height looks like it's just over 50. So we'll call it 50 1/4. So he has a pretty level top line sloping to the hip. Now we'll go ahead and measure his leg length. So his leg length is 32 inches. So we have a 32-inch leg length, 51 at the wither, and 50 1/2 at the hip. Now we'll go ahead and measure his post height, or his pole height. He is 79 inches, almost 80 inches at the pole, at the top of the head, at the base of the ear. So incredibly tall, long neck, perfect specimen for breeding stock for a Cara llama. Now we'll do his depth to body ratio. So his wither measurement was 51 inches. We're going to subtract that from his leg length of 32 inches, and that is going to tell us his depth of body, or his girth. Okay, now we've got our third llama, Milo. Milo is 46.5 inches at the withers. And now we'll go ahead and get his hip height. All right, at the top of the hip, above the back leg, he's also right about 46 inches at the top of the hip. Looks like his leg length is just a little over 26 inches. So we'll call it 26 inches. And it looks like he's 71 inches at the pole. So now we're gonna walk him through the puddle and onto the dry concrete and go ahead and get his surface area. So this is just kind of a very general idea of how to measure your llamas, how to weigh them, different qualities of the different measurements. Most people, when they ask you about a llama, they always want to know the height and weight. So this is a cheap way to get into a scale that we went over earlier. This is the way to measure them. Feel free to reach out to us. We want to try to be a resource for folks out there looking to get into pack llamas.